Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connecticut at your service. My name is Carmen, and I'm your host right here on Soundview TV every Tuesday. Make sure that you're logging in with us. The show is called Connecticut at your service because we feature the people, the work, the businesses, and the nonprofits that serve our community. I am so extremely proud to introduce our guest today. Her name is Carmen Colon, and she is someone who is a champion of housing services. She's a friend to many, a resource countless, and I am so proud to have her here, have her be as a friend, and be able to introduce her. Carmen, how are you today?
Hello, my friend. I am doing great. And actually, hearing you, listening to you, and of course, we're friends. The two Carmens, right?
Two Carmens.
Yeah.
Double trouble.
Indeed.
So Carmen, I want to start a little bit. So this show features people that make a difference in our community and our champions, not only for just anybody that asks you for help. I've known you for over 20 years I've known you. And I didn't even realize that you had just gotten a promotion. You're the vice president of the YMCAs here in Bridgeport through Alpha Community Services. I know you as a friend. I call you on the phone and I say, Carmen, I need this. I need a connection to that. And you're there. How is it to be a resource to the community? What kind of boards do you sit on? And what is your personal philosophy about taking care of yourself and the leadership and then the community and the roles that you play?
Wow, my friend, that is totally loaded. Lots of questions, right? Well, I'll begin by saying that being able to be a community resource is a blessing. It's just a total blessing for me that God actually put me in the right job almost 29 years ago, and that basically put me in the path of people like you. There's so often people come to us and they don't know where to go. Too many doors close on them, right? And my mission is to make sure that I open those doors, that I'm not closing those doors, that the doors that do close for people, that I can be a voice and open those doors. Trust me, I know how to go through the back door. I know how to do that very, very well. But I kind of think that the reason why I can go through a back door is because I just will give. And I know one of the things that I always say is that people don't want to have to ask, don't want to have to need. When they do ask, it's because they sincerely need, they have that need. You spoke a little bit about my promotion. I don't talk about those things. I don't talk about titles. I'm just Carmen. And when I talk about that, it brings tears to my eyes because I'm just here to help out the community. I'm here to help people in need. When people ask me about my agenda, I basically say, well, my agenda has to do with the climate of our community. I want to know what our community needs. I tried my best to assess the needs of our community, and I try my best to make sure that we're putting programs and many other things, right, to be able to address those needs that our community has.
Carmen, every day that I see you and I talk to you, every day I'm more in awe about just knowing you and the great person that you are. One of the things that you talked about was programming. Could you share with us what, the hierarchy of Alpha, the YMCAs, and the work that the agency does?
Sure. So I am a social worker by trade, and I started my career in the emergency shelter at Alpha Community Services YMCA. And over the course of the years, we have become the largest providers of permanent supportive housing. Well, that's really exciting, right? Because we have many shelters, shelter programs, but shelter is not a way of life. We have to make sure that we're housing people. So little did I know that I was going to become a housing developer. We don't talk about all my housing development, right? So we have over 400 units of permanent supportive housing. Wow. We have master level social workers that work within those programs. And the reason why they're master level social workers is because we have many people, the majority of our folks suffer from mental health issues. And our social workers' goal is to make sure that folks stay housed. After they have been living on the streets, after they have been living in shelters, and we finally give them a place they can call home, we don't want them to lose that. Well, importantly, a few years ago, I was basically given another task by the YMCA to run the child care programs and the swimming pools and all that other wonderful stuff that comes with all of that, right? So the great thing about it is the fact that we are able to then offer child care to those families that are coming to our emergency shelter. We know that a lot of families, they cannot go to work if they don't have adequate child care. So yet they become homeless because they don't have child care. Well, at our YMCA, we can offer all those services. So when it comes to that hierarchy with all of that, myself as the vice president, well, I do have a boss. He's our president CEO, but I also have a board. Actually, I have two boards. I have a Alpha Community Services board, and I have a Bridgeport YMCA board. And I answer to all of them, and they're all wonderful people. And they have given me the opportunity to help this wonderful city of Bridgeport, but also our surrounding towns.
You see what I'm saying? I'm always in awe. I know that we've been putting on the teleprompter for the show, just if people need housing supportive services to start at 211. We've also put the information on there about how people can access information through Alpha and all the great things that you're doing. I want you to tell me a little bit about, just in general, some of the ways that you raise money for Alpha and the exciting walk that you tend to do year over year. And people can find information about the walk on Alpha. But Carmen, tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, before I talk to you about the walk, which is wonderful, and the reason why we raise money is, let me tell you a little bit about Alpha. During the pandemic, when everything shut down, I basically looked at all my properties and said, we need to open up. We need to open up for those individuals who are totally homeless. They're on the streets. They're afraid. We need to open up for Bridgeport Hospital and St. Vincent's Hospital, where they needed space to make sure that people who did not need hospitalization could come in and be housed. We did all that. Importantly, over the course of all these years, we have been opening warming centers for the homeless population when the weather is really, really cold, right? Mm-hmm. And all of this goes on November 15th through April 15th. And we would send people back outside every single day. And one of the things that I said, well, what I learned during the pandemic was that we got enough funding to be able to keep people here housed every single day during the cold months. Why can't I keep them here all day long and not send people outside? And sure. And when I spoke to the Commissioner of Housing, whom I love, Seila Mosquera Bruno, who's wonderful, she's like, Carmen, that sounds wonderful. When I spoke to our city of Bridgeport, our mayor and everyone, they're like, Carmen, that sounds wonderful. And absolutely, we were able to do that. But then I challenged my staff even a step further. I said, all right, well, April 15 comes. What are we going to do with all those individuals that are with us, right? And they just looked at me and said, no, we are housing people. We are going to permanently house all these individuals that are coming through our doors. And we have seen over 253 people coming through our doors. And what's today's date? The 17th of May. And do you actually think that on April 15th, I was going to say to the very few, about 22 people that were left in that facility, that now they had to go and go on the streets? Absolutely not. Not Carmen Colon. No.
So you find resources for that.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
We do have a portion of the show, Carmen, where people can call in and ask you questions.
Yes.
And you're such a great resource. We want to put up the phone number for individuals that want to call Carmen and ask her a question. But while we're waiting on the phone, on a call, really take a quick second to talk about the walk that you've done year over year. And then if people want to volunteer, if they want to sponsor, if they want to help, what are ways that they can get engaged?
Sure, Carmen. And I know that you want to hear about that, and I'm going to tell you about that, but I thought it was important for people to hear that, right?
Yeah,
so we
absolutely.
have, and I thank you because you come to our walk every year. We have our 21st annual Walk to End Homelessness this coming Saturday on the 21st, and it's at Captain's Cove. And registration is at 8:30 in the morning, and the walk kicks off promptly at 9:30. And folks can contact us and contact me directly at 203-260-0595. Call me directly, please. I want people to come in. Folks can volunteer, help us out. We have lots of raffles. We have an auction, an amazing auction. We have trips and all of that on the auction. Is just totally amazing. And I couldn't say enough about the folks at Captain's Cove. They open up their doors to us. They have been doing that, like I said, for 21 years. And it is our largest fundraiser. This year, we're basically trying to raise $65,000. We kept it low because we have another fundraiser during the holiday season that's called the Homes for the Holidays, and you'll hear later on some stuff about that. But right now, everything is about our walk this coming Saturday at Captain's Cove. Again, that is May 21st, and 9:30 we kick off the walk. We'll have our dignitaries there. You know, they always support us. They have been great. You too, Carmen. You have just been great over the course of the years. You just have been amazing. Our photographer, you have done everything. So I really would like for everyone to come and join us. We get 250, 300 walkers, and we walk down St. Mary's by the Sea. Why do we walk down St. Mary's by the Sea?
I don't know, Carmen. Tell me why you walk by St. Mary's by the Sea.
For those of you who know Black Rock, wow, what a beautiful, very, very wealthy community. Well, just a mile away, we have the poorest neighborhoods. We have P.T. Barnum apartments, right? Really poor neighborhoods. So we basically try to raise awareness to all the folks here in our communities, our surrounding towns, that we don't have to look towards the third world country to assist. Mm-hmm. We have lots of folks here that need assistance, that need help. And we want to make sure that folks know that and really help us. And we really need help to continue to help these individuals.
So when you talk about help, and you mentioned that I've not only been involved with the walk, but I support whatever you do. So if people wanted to find out ways for them to engage with your organization or all of your other events, they can just go to your website, correct?
Absolutely. They can go to our website under Alpha Community Services YMCA for information on our Bridgeport branch, basically Central Connecticut Coast YMCA, Bridgeport YMCA as well. I know you did mention for folks to access our services. Calling 211 and to make sure that they receive services. If somebody calls me and calls the agency, basically we're going to give them information. We're going to do all of that. And if somebody's afraid to call 211, we will help you with the process.
So just so that people, because I tell you, you know that in my regular job, that we're also doing, providing services and helping people get back to work faster and helping to eliminate some of those barriers where if they don't have a place to live, if they don't have food, if they don't have basic, needs, a job is not their priority. So I know that in supporting your work, because people come to me all the time, and we're not a housing agency. Right. And people believe that, you're an elected official, you should be able to solve all my problems. And you're looking at just in my neighborhood, I live on the South End, and there's like 17,000 residents in that area. It's a lot for one person to be, so we've got to we as the community and as individuals that need help, need to ask for help, need to say, this is what I need. And to do that, and I know that some people were saying, well, I need to get housing, it doesn't work like that. And in my experience, and you tell me if this is not correct, like they have to get on the 211 housing list in order to be able to access services and things like that. And definitely you're somebody that people can reach out to, but you can't do it alone, and in that we take a lot on when the people that we love in our community and the people that we support need. So how do you take care of yourself and your staff who are like, housing is a big thing because you run the only family shelter in Bridgeport, correct? The only one that has families.
That's correct.
And when individuals, you definitely have some compassion and you try to help, but when it's children, I have to tell you, I am just, it's in me deep when children don't have. I have 5 grandchildren. I know you got grandchildren too.
Absolutely.
And my kids are always like, why are you always about the grandchildren? I said, I love them more because they came from you. And we do whatever we can. How do you take care of yourself and your staff when so many people need you?
Well, I have to tell you, I'm totally blessed. I have an amazing staff. When other people are talking about that they can't recruit people, they can't, other organizations, well, I'm blessed. I really have a very, very low staff turnover rate. Folks stay around us. I always say that it's not about the money. It's about the environment that you create when folks go to work. You got to want to go to an institution, a job. I'm very supportive of what they do. Excuse me, I have a great partner who actually helped me start this walk.
I know, we didn't even mention him. That's right, that's right.
Very encouraging. He's a school teacher. So he goes out there and he helps the community, helps the students. And we take vacations and we do
I know, I follow you on Facebook. I live through you, just so that you know, because I go nowhere.
And, you know, and God, the Almighty, He really, I am a firm believer that He doesn't give us more than what we can handle, right? So yes, absolutely. You know, and the reason why I give people my phone number and all that, because I know it's scary. I know that when you're going out there and you're trying to access resources and doors just start shutting down on you. We've spoken about this when you call people and you ask them for a phone number and they're like, oh, I can't give you that phone number. We've spoken about that, right? How can you just, you know resources, have resources, and just keep them to yourself? You're not helping anyone if you just keep those things to yourself. So no, I really take care of myself. I do go to the gym in the morning.
And you ride your bike.
And I ride my bike. I ride my bike. Right?
I'm like, I'm gonna drive and meet you there. I am not taking a bike, but I do have bikes.
But actually, when you see individuals who are getting housed and getting their set of keys and all of that, it's just so rewarding. You mentioned something very important. You mentioned the children. Of course, you know, I mean, our heart goes out to them. One of the things that I say to my staff and have said to my staff when I see our adult population who has so many needs coming in, I look at them and say, think about the fact that that was once somebody's baby. They grow up, right? The children grow up. We need to take care of them, but we also need to take care of those adults who basically, for better or worse, have hit rock bottom, and we have to help them get back up.
I think that that's amazing. So we talked a little bit about me volunteering with Alpha before, and I have to give a shout out to my sister-in-law, Janine, who played Santa one time at one of your events. And my children came and we made like pancakes at your family shelter and all of that. So, and I've also, because you have a transitional housing unit, where a couple actually, right? Where people, once they come out of a shelter, they can stay in there a little bit longer.
So we changed that.
You changed that model, because I remember we went in with a bunch of volunteers and flipped that whole apartment, like cleaned it, painted it, and got it ready for another family. And that was just so awesome to do something like that.
So actually, you're talking about our site on Clinton Avenue, correct?
Yes.
That was an emergency shelter.
Okay.
But you see how it did not look like an emergency
No.
shelter, a typical emergency shelter?
Yes.
It was somebody's apartment, because we pride ourselves.
And they got dishes and everything. They got
everything.
dishes and everything. I thought that was awesome.
Everything. We make sure that when people are coming into an emergency shelter, that stigma is erased. That the children are feeling like they're in their own apartment. One of the things that happened during the pandemic was that I wanted to rehab the entire property. And I asked the Commissioner of Housing for money to rehab the property. And she said, why not convert it into permanent housing, since they love it so much?
So now it's permanent?
So now that site is permanent. Isn't that exciting?
You got to give me a high five for that. You got to give me a high five for that, because we're just fixing problems all day, people.
Yes.
I think that Carmen is just fantastic. I think your board is fantastic. You've got, I think, your chairperson for your walk this year. What's his name?
Ed Pendle.
Ed. Let me tell you, I met Ed. And he is just a little burst of energy, just like me. So I think we're going to get along real great at the walk. And just exciting, you know, and it's so great when you have people that support you, that sit on your board, that are sponsors, that believe in the mission, they believe in the cause, but most importantly, Carmen, they believe in you. Because a lot of the time, I've seen you solve problems and be like en route to wherever the situation is. And be like, and call somebody and listen, it's handled by the time we get to wherever it is that we're going. And I think that just says volumes about you, volumes about the leadership, and volumes about your staff. And not only do the way that you tell me that people have your number, I think I have the phone number to at least 4 of your staff that I could call right now about anything.
Yes.
And I think that just says volumes to who you are, all the different things that you do. So I'm hoping that we might get a couple calls because I know you're just such a great resource. And the number is on the prompter there, but let's continue our conversation.
Sure.
So Carmen, tell me what's next for you and what's next for Alpha.
Oh, so actually, we're really excited. We started maybe about 12 months ago. We started a youth development project right in Bridgeport, right on the corner of Boston and Helen. And we should be having a ribbon cutting ceremony sometime in July when we receive our certificate of occupancy. And that's 11 units for 18 to 24-year-olds.
That is amazing.
I am really excited about that. Again, thanks to funding from the Department of Housing. So we're really excited about that project. When we looked at our communities, and that's something that's needed. We do need housing for 18 to 24-year-olds. That's the aged out population from DCF. And some of our children that are coming back from college, and because rents are so high here in Fairfield County, that
now you're breaking ground, Carmen. You're breaking ground, or
no,
it's already ready to go.
We have been working on it.
Oh my goodness!
It's almost finished, so we will be cutting the ribbon.
We got a call, Carmen. You're on the line with Connecticut at your service with the 2 Carmens. How are you, and do you have a question?
Yes, how you do? Listen, I thought I heard you mention the walk against homelessness. Can you give me a little more information about that?
Absolutely. So thank you for calling and for inquiring. So we have our Walk to End Homelessness this coming Saturday, May 21st, and it's at Captain's Cove Seaport in Black Rock. And the registration begins at 8:30. The walk actually kicks off at 9:30. And if you want further information, you can go on our website, Alpha Community Services YMCA, or you can contact us at 203-260-0595.
And I assume that if you're walking, you're walking to bring in a donation for your organization. Is that correct?
That is correct. So we're asking walkers to contribute $25. The first 300 walkers get a t-shirt. We have a raffle going on. We have an auction. We have music. We have face painting. Lots of wonderful stuff going on during that time. So if somebody wanted to come in and just sit there on the boardwalk and enjoy the sun, it's supposed to be wonderful weather too, right? Folks can do that as well, but we're walking through beautiful St. Mary's by the Sea.
Thank you, caller, for your question. We have another call. And remember to log on to the website, and you'll get information about all the ways to support, all the ways to donate, and all the ways to register for the walk. Thank you, caller, and have a great day.
All right, you're very welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
I heard it ringing. Okay. Okay, so I heard it ringing, so we must have taken too long with that caller. And so you were talking about the walk, so people can get information about everything that you do about Alpha and all those different things that people can help out. So we were talking about what's next for you and what's next for Alpha. So you were mentioning that you're having a ribbon cutting. Will people be able to get that information off of your website?
Yes, absolutely. So that's going to be posted on our website.
Awesome.
It'll be sometime in July. We're just waiting for some, things here and there that we have to do on the project. So we're really excited. Again, like I said, 11 units. We'll have 24-hour coverage. We're going to have educational programs for the youth that are coming in,
That's awesome.
Work enforcement, all those wonderful things. So we're really excited about that.
Thank you, Carmen. Hello, caller. You're on with Connecticut at your service with the 2 Carmens. How are you?
Hi there. I was calling because I wanted to know if I wanted to get into one of the permanent supportive housing buildings, like the Harrison or the Fairfield apartments. What does that process look like?
Basically, what you would have to do is contact 211. And through the 211 process, we do have a by name list that basically an individual that goes onto that list, we look at what number they're on. Somebody will call them back. And what it is a navigator will call them back. They'll do a full assessment on their needs, and we will meet whatever housing needs they have. If it's the Crescent or Fairfield or Harrison apartments, that process will do through that intake. We will know which apartment to get them into. And again, the caseworker will help them determine that. The beauty about it is that we'll have the individual candidates look at the properties, look at the apartments that we might have available for them so they can choose. So there is also a choice. Obviously, if somebody's out on the street and we give them up to 3 choices and they say no to everything, then we're going to say, well, we're sorry, you're going to have to pick something. But they're all wonderful apartments. And again, our case management team at all those apartments is just wonderful. So again, 211, through that process, they will be able to get an appointment with a navigator who will assist them with the entire housing process.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and thank again for calling.
Thank you.
So, Carmen, that's actually like a really good question. So, if they were getting into that youth housing that you have, so they would need to start through 211 as well?
They also start through 211 as well. There are a lot of individuals, youth, that are actually in need of housing right now. We do have a lot of individuals on the by name list. Which is like the wait list, right? That is the wait list for the state of Connecticut.
Okay. Look at the phones are on fire for you today, Carmen.
That's for you.
Hello, caller. You reached Connecticut at your service with the 2 Carmens. How are you?
Muted. Hello?
Hi, how are you? You have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay,
yes, how
what's the
can we
question?
help you?
I wanted to know, if you don't have documentation, do you assist with getting IDs and Social Securities?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that we do is that our case workers as well make sure that they're helping obtain that documentation. We do know that there are so many homeless individuals that lose all their paperwork, and we do help them with that. The lack of documentation should not keep you from having a roof over your head. We will make sure that we help you with all of that.
And that's part of the intake process, right, Carmen?
Absolutely. And there are many places throughout the state of Connecticut that if an individual doesn't have such documentation, they have to wait to obtain that to come in. But we don't. We will make exceptions and we'll help you obtain the documentation and make sure that you have a roof over your head, whether it's in a shelter on a temporary basis until we get your documentation. And we help you pay for that as well. We help you pay for a birth certificate, an ID, and all of that to make sure that you have everything in place. We speak about that initially in the initial meeting with the navigator.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, caller. And remember to log on to the website for information. On the show is also the phone number to Alpha. And it's really important that people understand that they're not alone and there are resources.
Absolutely.
Thank you, caller, and have a great day.
Thank you.
So we're wrapping up, Carmen. So I think that I'm hoping that people can see how amazing you are, all the ways that you help the community, all the ways that Alpha and the YMCAs are providing services to the community. And I just want to take a moment and just tell you how much I appreciate you, that I love you to pieces. I'm so grateful that you are a resource in our community, that you're somebody that we can call on. Not only that, but you help other emerging leaders in our community. So, Carmen, any last words that you want to say as we wrap up for the day?
Well, I want to say that I love you. And thank you. You're that passionate individual in our community. We call on you and you're always there. I want to thank my entire staff team and my board members for everything that they do. And when we talk about emerging leaders, I say, hey, you know what? Come to work for Alpha Community Services of the Bridgeport Y. We really, we create leaders and we try to promote everyone. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Connecticut at your service. Okay, perfect. Thank you.